Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Booze Battalion Chronicles. During these episodes, we will discuss everything from funny moments and how to keep our kids safe during their sensory episodes. How you doing?
It's a hot day.
So hot. So hot. Wasn't even supposed to be this hot today, and it got hot. 110 degrees.
I know.
Middle of Kansas.
I know. You'd think it wouldn't get that hot because we're not so far south, but we definitely get the heat.
So much. But it's like that everywhere.
That's true.
So this week we're going to be talking about safety. How to guide our kids through internet safety and safety in general.
Mm-hmm.
So how is Booze Battalion talking about safety?
Yeah, so we approached it from many different angles. Of course, we reinforce the physical safeties and, don't talk to strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. We also talked about safety around the home. So, the age-old things, not running with scissors, using knives properly, stuff like that. But then we also went into more of the internet safety, which, of course, is why Booze Battalion was founded. Was because of the dangers that lurk on the internet for kids. And so we had some games that we did with the kids, and we had songs that they jammed out to. Some of them were better received than others. But it kept the kids guessing, and they were all pretty excited through it all.
That's good. I know I got to listen in on one of the younger groups, and they were just loving it. And some of them had voiced some pretty good ideas on how to keep themselves safe.
Yeah, that was a big key thing, as it is with with anyone, not just kids, is when you're approaching new ideas, it's good to have them reflect those ideas back to you or find different ways for it to connect in their brains. So after we'd watched the music video that we had, or after we played the game, we'd sit and we'd talk, and I'd say, okay, now tell me different ways that you think you can be safe while being online. And for the kids, like for the younger kids, it was more about during them playing games, Xbox, PlayStation, the VR, because all of those are riddled with people talking, right? So we went into long, in-depth conversations about how it's better just to talk to someone, to make sure that you're talking to someone that you physically know and you've met, versus talking to just anyone. And that if you do find someone trying to reach out to them and saying, hey, I want to be your friend, but they don't know them, that they should always go get their mom or their dad or an older sibling or whoever's their caretaker and tell them to get them to help out and make sure, is this person someone that they could actually talk to, or is this a situation where that person needs to be blocked for trying to talk to a kid?
Right.
But they did come up with their own ideas around that, which was super fun and exciting. Of course, for them coming up with ideas around the house or with their physical safety, it was a little easier because that's something they get taught in school. And they get taught at home, like from the time that they could walk. We're telling them, don't touch hot stuff, don't run with scissors, Right. But from the online perspective, it's a lot different. And there's not as much teaching that goes on about the dangers online. One of our older group, our 12 to 14 group, she learned what PII meant. Because as we were sitting there and we were talking about it, and she was talking about how, her mom at one time had gotten hacked by shopping. And I told her, I was like, yeah, we had that too. Remember, like 7 years ago, we placed an Amazon order during the holidays and we got hacked.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
So we talked through that, and then I was telling them about PII, personally identifiable information. And she had no idea what that was, but as we started talking about it and their video that they had watched, because we try to make sure they're age-appropriate videos for each group, right? So the video that they had watched had went through, hey, when you're sharing pictures on Instagram saying, you're playing basketball at the park, come find me, that's information you probably shouldn't be sharing just to anyone.
Right.
Or if you're standing outside your house and you say, hey, birthday party at 123 North Briar Lane, that's information that you shouldn't just put out on the internet.
Right.
Right? You can put it out to your select friends, that you want to come, but not just wide over it. And that was a conversation that they had a little bit, but not to that extent. And they didn't understand that any of the information that is personal to them, their full names, their ages, their address, where they go to school, where their parents work, all of that kind of information really just was like, what?
Right.
For them. And that's what we want to do. We want to help get that across, that, look, the internet is great for things. I mean, obviously, we use the internet in Foods Battalion. For my other business, we use the internet. The internet has done great things for us, allowed us to talk over long distances, allowed us to have our phones with us when we're out shopping, a lot of different things. But it has also created a lot of problems as well.
Right.
Because the people that just kind of hide behind the keyboard and they pretend that they're somewhere else, or they say things they wouldn't normally say if they were face to face with you.
Right.
So it's those kinds of things that are getting harder and harder and harder to discern whether or not it's real or it's fake, that we have to have our eyes out for at all times.
Right. And you actually see that a lot nowadays. We have TikTok with Foods Battalion. We have our own personal ones too, but you see it in just scrolling through social media. A lot of people, younger generation people, that end up putting their own personal information out on these social medias. Sometimes they just don't even realize it. And I think that has to go along with they weren't really taught how to do it.
Right.
How to do it the right way. I know we grew up when the internet started. We're not that old.
You make us sound so old.
We're under 40. We're under 40.
Giving away our secrets here.
But we learned from when we were young all the way up until now on how to deal with the internet. I think it was the generation after us that actually just got thrown into it. That they didn't really get taught, the internet, the safeties that you need to have.
Well, yeah, that's because we were growing up on, dial-up and AOL, and we're the first ones that started the bullying online. But there wasn't so much of people meeting you online because we hadn't developed all of the other different areas. We had some chat rooms, but they weren't a lot. And then we had MySpace, which was grand.
See, we're that old. We had MySpace.
Yes.
Tom.
Oh, God. Anyways, so we kind of figured those things out as we went along, but even we don't understand, all of the different ways that there are frauds out there. Right. It takes it takes skill to kind of be able to see and to know and say, okay, this looks fishy. I shouldn't move forward with this engagement.
Right.
Right? And so that's what we were trying to get through with the kids, is if it looks fishy, if it looks like it's something that you shouldn't do, then you should go talk to your parents.
Right.
Rather than just going full in and apprehending and having this conversation and playing with these people that you don't know, where you accidentally tell them where you go to school or how old you are or any of that other information. And especially on the chats, I watch you playing Xbox, and of course you have your chats open as an adult. Right? But I hear it coming through, and it's not just you and your friends. You get to hear everyone else, and they're all talking and throwing, saying smack back and forth and whatever, as y'all are killing each other on whatever shooting game it is. But the point is that's what our kids deal with on the games as well.
Right.
If they have that ability, then they have constant streams of communication, and then they begin to think that that's normal.
Right.
And we need to tell them, and we need to help them understand it's not normal. And that most of those people that are on there aren't necessarily what you think they are. And that you have to start thinking in that way in order to protect yourself.
Right.
And it's having that. A lot of people would think that talking to kids about this would scare them. It would be a fear tactic, right? But it's not even about that. It's not about, and we didn't show any information that would scare the kids. So it's not about scaring them. It's not about making them fearful. It's about making them cognizant of what's going on around them. Mm-hmm. That increases their ability to be independent because they have a more of an ability to go, hey, stop. This is not right. This is not what I want. Versus just sitting there and, yeah, cool, let's go. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem that we ran into with Boo in November.
Right.
We talked about it before on the podcast, but it was a very simple situation. She had a cell phone. We had parental blocks on it. Using Apple, we thought we covered everything, right? Until the day when we looked at her phone and we found out she was trying to meet someone in real life who wasn't what they said they were. Right. And so that's what we're trying to help these kids prevent, is we're trying to help them see, yes, there are good people online. There are people that are your friends online. But you have to be very cautious, and you always, always need to have your eyes open to what's going on in order to protect yourself.
Right.
And that goes for everything, whether it be on the internet or it's going to the park or going into the pool. Mm-hmm. Right? Because even shopping, right? All those people are getting more and more dangerous just lifting people from grocery stores.
Right.
Right? Pushing them in the cars or whatever. So it's about being cognizant, and it's about helping them understand that. And of course, it's not going to be a 1 week thing that's instantly going to just pop up in their mind and they're always going to think about it. No, they're kids. They're going to forget about it, or they're going to push the boundaries, or they're going to do it. You know what they want.
They are, but these are also kids too that even one small thing triggers something that they remember from what they learned.
Yes.
A lot more than you would actually think. You know, it just may be something that they hear on the radio. You know, being like, oh, hey, Mom, I remember this. And I learned this either, here at Boo's, or I learned this at school or something. It's always that one thing that triggers. And it can constantly trigger and happen.
Right. And that's why I try to find songs or cartoons that are covering the subjects. Mm-hmm. We also work really hard to make sure there's a game that's relevant to whatever we're talking about. And then, of course, there's writing things down. So that way they get it from several different areas. They hear about it. They've got the rhythm for the songs. For those that like it that way, they can see it written for the ones that are visual.
Right.
It's a lot of different methods. But the other thing is that it isn't going to be just like a one-time conversation for Booze. Mm-hmm. We're going to find different ways to introduce this topic repeatedly. Because the biggest thing about Booze is they're safe here at Booze. Because we've put in all the safeguards. We've got lawyers on the side making sure that we're 100% safe with everything that we're doing. We've got interviews. We've got all the safeguards in place to make sure that it's kids with only kids. But it's everywhere else you have to be worried about, right?
Right.
And so it's as long as they're coming in and they're getting that information and all these different ways that can help them, then it helps them be more independent, more confident, more happy and secure when they're out in public, because now their brain's not running in 18 million different ways going, oh no, what's this, mm-hmm. They can calm and be like, okay, I just need to watch my surroundings. And that's kind of our goal, is it'll take time, but over time we want them to feel more secure being outside using the different tricks and tools that they've been given through the rally points.
Well, I know it'll end up helping them. Boo has always, in the last couple of weeks, has actually gotten better at, her online safety. She's asking us questions on stuff that she may pull up. She's doing the right thing, but she's also at the same time too. Like she got on her computer the other day and downloaded an antivirus software that was not an antivirus software. So, I mean, she was trying to do the right thing, and I have to give her credit about that.
Yes.
But those are things that you got to make sure that your kid comes to you for, to make sure that it is the correct thing.
Right.
Because even they may say it is what you want, but it can be the complete opposite and actually harm you.
Right. Agreed.
So, well, thanks for joining us today. Meet us next time as we continue to explore and discuss the issues we face today as family and friends of socially anxious kiddos. Hope to see you again next time.
Bye.
Bye.